Title: I caught my girlfriend planning to cheat, so I walked away despite her pleas for forgiveness. I never thought a simple Friday evening would unravel everything I believed about us. My name is Alex, I'm 29, and I've been with my girlfriend, Emily, for nearly 3 years. From the beginning, things had felt effortless. Late-night drives, spontaneous dinners, the comfort of knowing someone knew you inside and out. But lately, something had shifted. It wasn't dramatic arguments or fights. It was the subtle things, the delayed replies, the sudden secrecy with her phone, the way she'd glance around the room as if making sure no one was watching her every move. I noticed it first when she started staying late at work more often than usual. She insisted it was for a big project, and I believed her. But my instincts, sharpened by years of trusting my gut over explanations, screamed otherwise. Something wasn't right. That Friday, I came home early, earlier than she expected. The apartment was quiet, too quiet, and that silence always carries its own weight. I heard her on the phone, whispering, her voice tense and hushed. At first, I thought it was a work call, something urgent she didn't want me overhearing. But the words she used didn't match the usual professional tone. Names I didn't recognize. Plans I wasn't part of. A location, some hotel downtown. I felt my chest tighten. The unease I'd been trying to push aside all week suddenly roared to life. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't storm in, yell, or accuse. I just stood there listening. Each sentence she spoke confirmed my worst fear. Emily was planning to meet someone else. Not just a casual encounter. A deliberate, premeditated betrayal. My first instinct was disbelief. There had to be some mistake. Maybe it was someone else's name, a misheard conversation. But every word she whispered was deliberate, rehearsed even, as if she had convinced herself she deserved to deceive me. And then the worst part, the casualness of it. No hesitation, no guilt in her voice. Just cold, calculated planning. I felt anger, yes, but deeper than that was an overwhelming sadness. The realization that the person I had trusted with my heart, who I had envisioned a future with, was preparing to break it. I wanted to scream, to demand an explanation, but a quiet voice inside me told me something important. The power wasn't in confrontation. It was in knowing my worth and deciding I wouldn't participate in my own betrayal. I waited until she hung up the phone. Her expression changed the moment she noticed me standing there, silent but fully aware of everything. "Alex, I can explain," she said, her voice trembling slightly. But the fear in her eyes wasn't for me. It was for herself, for being caught. I shook my head. "Emily, there's nothing to explain," I said quietly. The words surprised even me. How calm they felt despite the storm of emotions raging inside. She stepped closer, reaching for my arm, her eyes pleading, tears welling up. "Please. I made a mistake. I don't want to lose you. Just give me a chance, let me fix this," she begged. I could see the familiar Emily in those moments. The girl who had been my safe harbor for so long. The one I had laughed with in the rain, shared secrets with in the dark, held in the quiet of our apartment. But this wasn't her. This was someone I no longer recognized, someone who had allowed deceit to replace honesty. I took a deep breath. "Emily, I trusted you," I said, my voice steady. "And trust isn't something you can just ask for back after you throw it away. This isn't about a mistake. This is a choice you made. And I can't be part of that." Her hands dropped slowly, disbelief written across her face. "You're walking away? After everything?" She whispered. "Yes," I replied simply. I didn't need to justify myself further. There was no dramatic argument, no shouting match, no public confrontation. Sometimes the quiet, firm decision carries more weight than any outburst ever could. I turned and walked out of the apartment, my steps deliberate, each one taking me further from the person I thought I knew and closer to the clarity I needed. On the way out, I caught a glimpse of the life we had built together. Our photos on the wall, the books we had shared, the little notes she used to leave me. Each one felt like a shadow of what could have been. A reminder that love doesn't survive when trust is destroyed. And yet, there was also a strange relief, a weight lifting off my chest. I was no longer complicit in my own heartbreak. By the time I reached my car, I felt the first real sense of peace in days. I hadn't yelled, I hadn't begged, and I certainly hadn't begged for her forgiveness. I had made a choice, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a sliver of control over my own life. The next few days were quiet, almost painfully so. Emily tried calling, texting, even showing up at my workplace once, but I didn't respond. Each attempt only confirmed the truth I had already embraced. Some bridges, once burned, cannot be rebuilt. I kept myself busy, focused on work, my friends, and the small routines that reminded me who I was outside of a relationship. I thought about what it meant to truly love someone. Not just the comfort of shared laughter or the warmth of a hug, but the respect, honesty, and integrity that bind two people together. Emily had crossed that line, not out of a momentary lapse, but through careful planning. That's not a mistake. That's a decision. And a decision like that leaves no room for negotiation. Friends and family reached out, offering support, reminding me that leaving wasn't just the right choice. It was the only choice. Some asked if I regretted it, if part of me wished I had stayed and tried to fix things. But deep down, I knew there would never be a way to fix what had been broken so intentionally. I had already given my heart, and she had chosen betrayal over love. Weeks later, I ran into Emily unexpectedly at a mutual friends gathering. She looked different, smaller, maybe, or maybe it was just the look in her eyes. She hesitated when she saw me, and I noticed the almost desperate attempt at a smile. "Alex," she said softly, I never meant for it to go that far. I was scared and I held up a hand, cutting her off gently but firmly. "Emily, there's nothing left to say. I made my choice. You made yours. And I can't be part of that anymore." I walked away, leaving her there with her words unsaid and her pleas unheard. And as I stepped into the cool evening air, I realized something important. Walking away doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It means you value yourself enough not to settle for less than honesty, integrity, and respect. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't catching someone in a lie. It's catching yourself in a situation where you compromise your own worth. And the moment you choose yourself over betrayal, that is the moment freedom begins. I didn't look back. I didn't regret it. And for the first time in a long time, I felt whole again.